Hello and welcome to another edition of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office Connecting with the Community. I'm Napoleon Bell, and we're going to be speaking with some deputies from the Sheriff's Office that work within the Warrants and Extraditions Unit and SWAT. Stay tuned.
When I got out of the military, I saw that brotherhood again, that pride. In the Sheriff's Office, there's no greater uniform out there.
It's a great honor to put this uniform on every day. I wear it with pride.
You won't find a career that's more challenging, that's more rewarding.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office Connecting with the Community. I'm your host again, I'm Napoleon Bell, and welcome you to the program. And we've got a great program, two very good segments. But our first segment, as you might see, we have a lot of hardware up front. Then we have two sergeants here that are going to be, they're speaking from the perspective of and from SWAT. We're going to be asking them a lot of questions about what SWAT is, what it does. And so let's just go ahead and get started. We have Sergeant Ray DeBolt and Sergeant Kevin Whiteman.
Yes, sir.
Great. I'm so glad that you made it to the show. We've got, SWAT is one of those elite groups that people hear about and you see so much about on TV and in TV shows. But first, let's talk about you two, because so often the residents, community folk, don't really get to know who the persons are who are on SWAT, and also with the Sheriff's Office. So, Sarge, tell us a little bit about you, just real quickly, and why you came on the department. Often people want to know, why did you start a career in law enforcement, and how all that started?
My name is Ray DeBolt. I basically started about 13 years ago. I've been on SWAT for 9 years. I was in the military prior. I like the camaraderie, the guys on the that I worked with, and this was kind of another segue into the later part of my life. From military to going into the Navy, or from the Navy, coming out and then being a part of this the law enforcement community, and then a SWAT's like a closer, tight knit group. So it's kind of good because we got like 21 guys.
Oh wow.
Grew up in Columbus, Ohio, Northland High School grad. So
Okay.
I have Columbus Public Schools, and that's me.
Great, great. Well, thanks so much.
So I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. I went to Westerville South High School. I've lived here my whole life. Been with the Sheriff's Department for almost 19 years. We started my 12th year on SWAT. Originally, I didn't want to be a police officer. I actually wanted to be an attorney, but
Oh wow.
I figured out how much longer I was going to have to go to school, and I didn't want to mess with that.
Right.
So a little bit to speak about what he said as far as the camaraderie and the brotherhood. It's not to say that that's not present in all police work, but it's a little heightened, I think, for us, because we're always together. So,
Yeah, I mean you're full time always together.
Yes.
we spend more time with our team than we actually do with our families.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and I can see how you can become very close knit. It's almost like, if you played sports and this is your
Yeah.
team and this is what you're used to being
Oh, that's
around.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of guys that played collegiate athletics,
Okay.
so this fills that void, I think, for
Yeah.
pretty much most of us.
Right.
You miss that teamwork element.
I totally get it. Totally get it. So let's go ahead and then start talking, because it sounds like both of you have been with SWAT for some period of time and with the Sheriff's Office. But when did this all begin? I understand SWAT wasn't necessarily full time, back many years ago. When did SWAT start with the Sheriff's Office, and then how has it progressed through the years?
So SWAT was kind of started out in the 70s.
Mhm.
It was called TET, and it was like a small group of people. I mean, it wasn't anything like what we have today. And then it just kind of progressed through. When Sheriff Carnes took over, they got rid of TET. TET just kind of disbanded, and they started a SWAT, sort of what you see. And over the years, it just kind of we get more equipment, more weapons, better trained. And then we get to about 4 years ago, we actually became full-time. So we'd been part-time all those years prior to, and then we became full-time 4 years ago. And we have a new building, and we're always training. So it's a good time. But it's been around for quite some time.
Right.
So.
Right. But it's just kind of gotten better and better.
It's gotten better and better every
Yeah.
year. Yeah, it just gets better and better.
Okay, well, and let me just, I think, go back just a second, because we talked about SWAT. But, a lot of people, what does SWAT stand for? You know, you hear it, it's not like SWAT and apply, but what does SWAT stand for?
SWAT stands for Special Weapons and Tactics.
Okay.
It's, a step above what normal police officers would do.
Okay.
We're all high risk is
Okay.
basically the stuff that we get into. And patrol, sometimes they'll, you know, if they have a problem with something, then they'll notify our supervision, which could be him or me or our lieutenant, and then we go from there, figure out what it is, what we need.
What's the deal?
Yeah, it's
So you guys touched on training though, right? And so it sounds like just from the name SWAT and tactics that you have to do a lot of training. Explain what that training involves and how often do you train? Because I'm sure you're not out in the street all the time, so probably a lot of your work is training.
Well, I'm the training sergeant, so that kind of makes us easy. So,
Okay.
basically, training includes firearms training all the way to, classroom work where we're, sitting down trying to, maybe it's working on a computer, that kind of thing, like learning PowerPoint or Word. But we train from all different types of weapon systems, so that's the specialized weapons. So anywhere from 40 millimeter to 9 millimeter handguns to rifles and different things like sniper rifles. And then we move into, robotics. So we have drones, we have tiny little robots. We learn how to clear rooms and clear houses, and I mean, there's just a whole ton of stuff that our guys have to be heads up on and know. And then also, tactics and everything change. So throughout the years, they change on a regular basis. So you've got to have somebody that's constantly learning and constantly ready to learn and change and throw away some older stuff and move to the newer way of things that are happening. We train, basically we have a pretty regiment training program, so we train at least once a week. We're getting together, whether that's on the firearms range or whether we're like in classroom. So we're constantly training. And then we might break away in small groups. So we have two different teams. We have a first shift team and a second shift team. And then they might train individually. So whether they're going in clearing rooms together or they're going up case law. So, I mean, it's constantly, if you're not learning, you might as well hang it up. You know?
Right. So you're not
constantly
only training, how to shoot and how to go through doors and what have you, but also you're training your mind, so that you're looking at case law, so that you're staying up to date on that also, about what you're able to and able not to do. So that's really amazing. It's a continual type of training, and I would imagine that through this training, because it sounds like some of it's, or a lot of it's physical, so you have to be in shape.
Yes, you do.
To be in SWAT. So is there an age limit to SWAT?
No, there's no age limit. It's just if you can perform. We have set standards that you have to perform at. If you can perform those standards and you can, again, do all the firearms and do all the other things, then yeah, you can be on this team.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Right.
But yeah, it's we do have standards.
So
physical standards are huge.
it's all stuff that related
able
to
to
something that we at some point would do during our job, or the possibility of having to do during your job.
Okay.
Whether it be cardiovascular, running, pull-ups, push-ups, that kind of stuff. Most of it's all body weight. But
Right. So if I can't do one sit-up or one pull-up, then I got a problem.
Probably
Yeah.
not the job for you.
Right.
You may not want to come with us.
Right. Very good. So we talked about what it takes to in the training that it takes. So let me ask you this. We see on TV though those perspectives of SWAT, and they're in the trees, on rooftops, all these different things. Is that reality? I mean, what you see, or what is truly what you see as the responsibilities of SWAT?
I'll let you go
Well,
with this one.
no, TV is not really, doesn't follow what we do. I mean, there are certain aspects of it. Yeah, we could possibly have somebody deployed in a tree as a sniper, or a house, the roof of a house. Those things don't happen very often. Those are kind of extreme. I can't say that we haven't done that before, but it's not a regular part of a mission that we would
Right.
we would undertake. It's the TV element is pretty cool to watch, but it's just not. It's not real life.
Right.
I mean, it's not what we don't train to be able to do that stuff. We train to do what is brought to us. Our
Okay.
response, you know, our tactics are always changing because criminals are always changing.
Right.
What they're doing is always changing, and the criminal element can change. It could be we're training specifically to do entries into drug houses, and the next time we're training to do an entry for a hostage rescue, which we just had not recently, so
Right.
the other day. It's
Parking garages, hospitals,
Yeah.
schools.
we train everywhere. We try to train as many places as we can because you never know where it's going to happen at.
Right. So with that training and you know, is there times when, you know, when you talk about the tactics and being able to do that, do you, before you go into an issue or an area, do you sit down and group them and says, okay, you know, this is what we're going to do? Or is it that you all just rush there and boom, you guys run in?
No, it's very controlled. Everything we do is like planned. So it's if you have 3 days to plan, or you have 3 months to plan, or 3 minutes to plan, we still plan. So we have some sort of idea, and that's where training comes in, because we will train for these things, so you're prepared to go into a situation at last minute notice. So we have a training house, which we do, and we kind of change things around a little bit, which actually our team built for that very purpose.
Oh, wow.
So if we know that we're going to have, let's say, such and such house, and we can kind of get the floor plan, we can actually recreate it and practice prior to the event.
Oh, wow.
So we kind of we try to work that direction if we can.
Okay.
It's called gaming, and we try to game the system a little bit if we can. And it may not necessarily always be like that, but yeah, as far as your TV, it's glamorized. My wife wants to watch it, and I'm like,
Right. You said no.
No,
it's
I'm
not
Right,
real.
yeah, wife and kids.
They're like, oh, that's what you do now.
No.
No, that's not it. So I see here some of the equipment. We talked about, you know, what you do, some of the equipment that is here. Explain to us briefly some of the equipment that you have here, and I think you have some on the floor there too.
Well, these are some of different variations of tools that we use, our breachers use when they're breaching the doors to get us into the house. This would be more commonly known to people as an H tool. It's actually a tool that firemen invented and kind of made what it is. It's used to pry open doors, storm doors, that type of thing. If it's locked, and you know there's a lot of glass on storm doors, you don't want to mess with trying to break the glass and getting cut. Then we can set these in there. Use this ram to tap it in, and guys will pop it out, or they'll just use the ram if there's no storm door, no exterior door.
How much does this weigh?
That one is probably 40-ish pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have some that are shorter with a bigger diameter head on a steel head that's probably 50-ish pounds. And then we have other ones that are squared off, they're rectangled, some that have teeth that kind of put these two tools together. I mean, there's...
These will knock in a door.
Yes.
This is our key.
Yeah, it's key.
This is our key.
Right.
And it all depends on who's breaching as to which ram or H tool that they take with them, because they're all different.
And one other thing I see that you have on the floor over there is actually a vest. I'm just wondering if you could bring that on over. So, looking at that, there's a lot of equipment on there, and I can't even imagine between all that and carrying one of these, it's a lot of weight.
Yeah, this is when it's not even, when you get it brand new and there's nothing on it, no gear or anything else on it, it's probably about 40 pounds.
Okay.
It has Kevlar vest in it, and it also has steel plates
Oh,
to
wow.
make it rifle rated. So then by the time you get your little med kit, which has your tourniquets, your blood clotting, your gauze, everything you would need to treat yourself or somebody else for a gunshot wound. We have our radios. Everybody has holster, whether it be up here in the front on their vest, or some guys have drop holsters and they carry them on their legs, but they're all the same. Where people put everything is a preference.
For them, right?
I mean, we all have the same gear, we all have the same guns,
Right.
but we don't all put it in the same place.
Gotcha.
It's just a matter of
And I see
preference.
that's prominently displayed with sheriff and
Yeah.
sheriff side. So if you're going into a home, you know, everybody knows it's sheriff.
It's marked,
Right.
yeah.
Right,
And
coming in.
of course, we're making announcements too.
Right.
In the sheriff's office, we have a search warrant for 123 Main Street. Come to the front door immediately.
Okay.
That goes on,
Wow.
so everybody in the neighborhood knows we're there.
Exactly.
Yeah, we want as many people.
Visually and but audibly.
Yeah, we want as many people as possible to know that we're there.
Right.
We're not trying to be secret about it.
Right. Very good. Well, that's a lot of equipment to be running around with. again, talking about training and
Yeah.
also being in shape. So I think we just have about a minute left that we can talk about here, and there's so much that I want to talk about. You know, do you only stay within Franklin County, or do you help other departments out with things that they have going on?
We help everybody. Anybody that needs help, we'll help.
Okay.
Whether that's in county with municipal agencies or out of county with other sheriff's departments. I mean, we've gone as far, last year we went as far as Pike and Lawrence County down in southern Ohio. So
The sheriff has been real good about, you know, if somebody reaches out to him, he's, hey, I've got these guys, we'll send them down to you. Because, you know, you get smaller agencies that just can't, you know, fund or have the
equipment.
manpower.
Right.
So it gives us an opportunity to. We get out and go see different things, and you know, we enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good time.
Excellent. Well, last question, or one of the last questions is, you know, sounds like you guys are pretty busy. Sounds like, you know, I understand also that you do probates and you do these warrants, and then you do, if you're called out on hostage situations, etc. How many things are you guys doing per year?
Total numbers of missions, we did 272 last year, and that's broken down into narcotic search warrants, which is the majority of the stuff that we do, but then specialized warrants for maybe our detective bureau, high risk. The probates, we average between 600 and 700 a year that we attempt, and last year we worked about 400 felony warrants.
Wow. So between doing all that work, training, learning, you guys are going every day.
It's a huge time commitment.
Yeah. Well, very good. We're so happy that you're out there doing that type of work, and I'm sure that you guys get your man or your woman, whoever you're looking for, better percentage of the time. But we are out of time. But I appreciate your time for being here, shining some light on what SWAT does, what SWAT is. And that it's not like TV. And so once again, I appreciate your time, and we will see you out there on the streets. Hopefully I'm just watching.
Yeah, just watch from afar.
Right, all right. Thanks so much.
Yep, no problem.
Well, welcome back. Yeah, this is our second segment of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office Connecting with the Community. Again, my name is Napoleon Bell, so we welcome you back to the program. And like I said earlier, our second segment, we're going to be talking about warrants and extraditions. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what that is, we have the person that knows everything about it here, Sergeant Stacy Griffith. Welcome to the program.
Hi.
Glad to have you here because you head up the Warrants and Extraditions Unit, and but like we did with the first segment, I want to find out, let people know a little bit about you. You know, why, how you got here, why you got started in law enforcement, kind of that whole career pattern thing to let people know about who you are and the job that you're doing.
Okay, well, I'm Sergeant Stacy Griffith, and I was born and raised right here in Franklin County, Columbus, Ohio. I went to Columbus South High School, graduated. I started working in the Sheriff's Office when I was 20 years old in corrections. When I was 1997, I took a promotion to corporal status. Okay. After working, I've worked both jail facilities, almost every job at both facilities. Wow. Then I became a sergeant, and a short time later I transferred out to our court services division, overseeing our convoy unit, which takes them to and from court and to and from prison. After that, I transferred to our detective bureau. A short time after being in there, I took over our sex offender registration unit, the sworn unit. Spent some time up there, and then I transferred to our Warrants and Extraditions Unit back in 2014, where I plan to finish out my career.
Wow. So you've had, a really diverse background as far as in law enforcement. Grew up here as a bulldog, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's a key thing that I see also with the SWAT, both of them locally from here, from Columbus City Schools. So that's great. And now you've been in Warrants and Extraditions. So tell us what is warrants and extradition. What is the unit? What's the difference between a warrant when you do an extradition? Tell us a little bit about that. Okay.
Well, Warrants and Extradition Unit is a very vast variety of duties that we do. Primarily, we serve warrants. In a nutshell, that's the easiest way to put it. There are several different types of warrants that we serve. We have what are misdemeanor and felony warrants that are issued out of the Municipal Clerk of Court's office. Okay. And then we have warrants that are issued out of the Common Pleas Court. And the difference between those two types of warrants basically is the municipal court, you either get bound over and go to common pleas court, or you could serve jail time.
Okay.
Where once it gets into common pleas court, you're looking at prison time.
Oh.
So those are the difference in basically the two types of warrants that we serve for a misdemeanor and felony warrants. We also serve child support warrants. We have a unit set up, 2 officers oversee that unit. They solely work child support unit, child support enforcement, non-support. And then we also work probate court orders, warrants for those who are experiencing crisis mode of mental health or serious health issues and their family has gone to probate court to get some assistance in ensuring the safety and well-being of their loved ones.
So let's hone in on that, because I don't think people often hear about probate warrants. Is that you said that you know your loved one feels as though that you have some mental health issues, so you have to come get the person from court, or how does that happen that we now have law enforcement coming to pick
What
this
happens
person
is
up?
the family member or case manager, loved one will contact the net care facility and advise them that they're concerned with the well-being of their family member, friend, loved one, that they're not caring for their personal needs or their medical needs in a way that's going to sustain life. So they take that, net care will go and try to visit with that person, and then they take that information to a judge in probate court, which is Judge Montgomery, and they sign off on what's called a probate warrant. And that allows the sheriff's department to go take this person into custody, the least means necessary, and take them to net care for an evaluation. Sometimes they will go to a hospital immediately for the evaluation, depending upon their medical needs.
Right.
Once they're in, the probate has been served on them, they have an option to sign themselves in for medical treatment, or if they refuse to sign themselves in, they hold what's called a probate court hearing, and then we transport them from the facility to Twin Valley for a probate court hearing. And then it's up to the judge to determine if they need to be hospitalized or if they're okay to go on home.
Oh, wow. So it's trying to make sure that they get from one place to another place safely and securely.
Yes.
Sounds like. Well, excellent. So another part that we talked about was extraditions. So, you know, you hear about that on TV, extradition. So this is something that you're going across the country?
Yes, we do. We'll pick up wanted persons all over the United States.
Wow. So, you know, let me ask you this. If you've got somebody in California, you know, and they're hanging out in California, do you fly them back? Or, you know, if you let's say that if you had to drive them back, I mean, that's an overnight. I mean, do you guys, everybody stays in a hotel like, you know, you might see on TV that you've got the person that has done the crime and yourself are both in a hotel room trying to make it to the next day?
Yeah.
Doesn't quite work that way.
No, we don't ever take a prisoner into a hotel room. If we have to drive someone and it requires overnight stay because we can't make it back in time, then they'll stay at a local jail facility. We have to make arrangements for them to stay at a local jail facility. We do fly commercial flights, and we travel by vehicle as well.
Okay. So is there, you know, when I'm thinking about commercial flights and what have you, is there any special, and I don't want you to give away anything, but is there special equipment that you guys have to make sure that everything is safe?
We do. We maintain security is our number one goal, getting them back here safely. So we don't want to cause any panic to the community, the people at the airport, the people in the community while we're driving on the streets. So we drive unmarked vehicles. We use a variety of different restraints. From anywhere from handcuffs to marten chains or belts, which go around the waist and fasten the hands down to the waist. Leg irons, and we also have rack belts, which is also known as a stun belt. So we use those. We're very discreet. Again, for our person that we're transporting, we don't want them to be embarrassed or humiliated, nor do we want the public to incite any type of panic, because most people don't understand just because somebody's a prisoner doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person, but society makes us all believe that because this is a prisoner or an inmate that they're bad. We bring people back on all all charges, a variety of charges, like
Right.
anywhere from child support
Wow.
to murder, maybe even a pass a bad check or forgery or
Yeah.
some type of fraud charge. So with this, they're not necessarily a threat to society, but they've committed a crime, so
Right.
they have to come back and answer for those.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's very enlightening, because you typically think, oh my gosh, they're in cuffs. You know, they must have done something really bad. So one area that I know that you had mentioned, not in this conversation, but previously, is a partnership with the Violence Against Women Act. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yes, we do have a federal grant that we work on overtime to cover warrants that are issued through municipal court, sometimes through common pleas court, but it's crimes that have occurred against a female. Domestic violence, assault, rape, stalking, a violation of protection orders. And it is to ensure safety and security to the victims is why this grant was generated, so that they'll come forward so that we can get a handle on these such crimes and let them know that it's safe to come forward with their crime with when they become a victim.
Wow. Okay. That's always collaboration, which is a good thing. And apparently that sounds like the unit is very busy. It sounds like you're constantly going.
We are.
And traveling all over the country. So that must be a nightmare. Just imagine, who is where at what time, and making sure though that everybody gets back safely. So it sounds like you have a lot on your hands. Any last words that you can think of that we didn't touch upon? We're running a little short on time, but I wanted to make sure that we learn everything we can learn in this 10 minutes or so.
I just want to let the community know that, we are pro-community. We really need their help on apprehending a lot of wanted persons. We take phone call tips. You think they can be anonymous. We knock on doors. We talk to people. Without their help, we probably couldn't get as many apprehensions as we do. We never tell how we find out our information. So if somebody wants to give us the information, it's always kept anonymous. With others, we don't give up our sources to anyone for any reason. So their help is really great, and we need them. And then for people with active child support warrants, we do have a program in place that if they contact our sheriff's department for the child support enforcement agency, we can get arrangements made so that you can turn yourself in and be released the same day.
Oh, wow.
That eliminates the worries of I'm going to lose my job if I go to
Right.
jail. It's going to cut out on so much time you spend in jail, because if you get arrested, you're going to wait till your court date. So it helps if they help us, we'll help them.
That is huge. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that families have a huge issue when their loved one is picked up or out of the blue for child support. And so this gives a way for someone to say, hey, let me plan this. Let me tell them, here, I'm coming in, and be out the same day.
Yes.
That is excellent news. So I wish we had more time, because we could talk on and on. But it sounds like the work that you're doing out there with the Warrants and Extraditions Unit is definitely work needed. But we appreciate how you have treated people and really looked at how do we make the transportation and with coming up from around the country, but then also working with those who are in child support. So I appreciate the work that you do. Thank you so much for your time here.
Thank you.
All right, well, and you heard it. We need the community's help to really make a difference, to help Sergeant Griffith's job easier, to be able to locate people, but able to bring them back so that they can take care of their issues here in Columbus, Ohio. So appreciate your time. Wow, what a great program. I really enjoy speaking with the sergeants from the Warrants and Extraditions Unit and also from the SWAT team. Amazing answers that they had, amazing things that they do, and so much. I really need to bring them back on the program to be able to ask them more questions. But if you have questions, concerns, or comments, or ideas, even for future shows, please be sure to give me a call at 614-525-5006. You can also shoot me an email at nabell@franklincountyohio.gov. But be sure to check us out on our website, on Facebook, and also on Twitter. And our social media is going to continue to expand. If you want to find out more information about what's going on with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, but also we want to hear from you and be able to make sure that we serve you the best. So thanks so much for watching, and have a great week.